Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Sanjit, and today in this air regulation session, what I read about today and what I want to discuss with you today is about aircraft nationality and registration marks. So this is going to be a two-part video, and we'll be talking through various stuff like where did I get all this stuff from, and what aircraft nationality and registration marks, kind of how it is important in air regulations basically as an exam. So first of all, where is all this mentioned? It's first of all mentioned in Annex 7. If you remember Annexure 7 of the ICAO, it is mentioned there. Secondly, Rules of the Air 1937, that's where it's mentioned. Thirdly, CAR, Civil Aviation Requirements, Section 2, Airworthiness, Series F, Part 1, Issue 2, 10th September 1998. So these three are the places where it's mentioned. But you don't have to remember specifically. You have to remember Annexure 7. Okay, Annexure 7 has to be remembered, which is aircraft nationality and registration marks. Rules of the Air 1937 has to be remembered, and in Civil Aviation Requirements Section 2, which is airworthiness, that has to be remembered, right? This might come in the exam. So Annexure 7 is the most important thing that you have to take away from this video that will come up in your exam. So I want to read out what Annexure 7 talks about in brief. It says Annexure 7 sets out procedures for selection by ICAO contracting states of nationality marks from the nationality symbols included in the radio call signs allocated to the states of registry by the ITU. ITU has allocated symbols 4YA to 4YZ for common marks for two or more states carrying out joint operations. So all you need to remember when it comes to registration is when you look at an airplane, you might see its name. Basically what I mean by its name is, let's say VT, and you might see three more alphabets, which would be Victor Tango Alpha Alpha Alpha, or Victor Tango Yankee November Zulu, or Victor Tango Eco November Whiskey. So all these things are basically the name or the registration of the aircraft. So that's what they're trying to say, and every country has its own. For example, we have Victor Tango in the start, right? So that's our country's basically start of our registration starts with Victor Tango, and that's with civil registered aircraft. With military, it would be Victor Uniform. Okay, so as we move ahead, it says standards for the use of letters, numbers, and other graphic symbols to be used in nationality and registration marks, and spells out where these characters will be located on different types of airborne vehicles, such as lighter than air aircraft and heavier than air aircraft. So they are just saying that it sets out certain parameters and standards. In this case, it tells us where these registration marks, and also let's say if it's an Indian aircraft, there should be an Indian flag also. So the Indian flag, registration mark, where all it should be on the aircraft. That's all mentioned in Annexure 7 of the ICAO, right? Then it's also saying that the annex also calls for the registration of the aircraft and provides a sample of the certificate for use by ICAO contracting states. This certificate must be carried in the aircraft at all times. So it's also saying that there would be a certificate of registration, and that should be carried within the aircraft at all times. We will be soon talking about the list of documents that are compulsory to carry, and we have already covered it in one of the videos briefly, but we'll be talking in detail soon. And certificate of registration is compulsory, right? So we'll be talking about the identification plate in this video. So it says that an aircraft shall carry an identification plate inscribed with at least its nationality or common mark and registration mark. The plate shall be made of fireproof metal or other fireproof material of suitable physical properties, and the identification plate shall be secured to the aircraft in prominent position near the main entrance, or in case of an unmanned free balloon, affixed conspicuously to the exterior of the payload. So just stop here and we will talk about this again. So identification plate is like a small silver plate. Even in your cars, you might have seen these identification plates, like a small plate when you open your door, right? The same way, there would be an identification plate which would be a fireproof metal, made of fireproof metal, and the flag of the aircraft is sometimes there, but the name of the aircraft, like Victor Tango Eco November Whiskey or Eco November Zulu, etc., would be there in it. And generally, the make of the aircraft and the year when it's made is also mentioned. So it's saying that in case of an unmanned free balloon, in case of a balloon, you might have seen those hot air balloons, for example. So in those cases, it is affixed conspicuously to the exterior of the payload, which means not on the balloon but below. When you look at the payload or where the passengers sit, that basket basically, that's where this metal plate is attached. Secondly, in case of remotely piloted aircraft, they are talking about drones now, secured in a prominent position near the main entrance or compartment, or fixed conspicuously to the exterior of the aircraft if there is no main entrance or compartment. So they are saying that it should be next to the main entrance if there is an entrance in a drone. For example, in the future, if the drone intends to carry passengers, there would be an entrance, and this metal plate should be next to the entrance, right? Then they are saying that the registration mark shall be letters, numbers, or a combination of letters and numbers consisting of 1 to 5 digits or characters, and shall be assigned by the state of registry or common mark registering authority. So in simple terms, it's saying that it can be a total of 1 to 5 characters, and it can be alphabets or numbers. When letters are used for the registration mark, combination shall not be used which might be confused with the 5-letter combinations used in the International Code of Signals. The 3-letter combination beginning with Q used in the Q code and with the Cape Town Convention or the Cape Town Protocol apply shall be cancelled by the DGC as provided in the Cape Town Protocol if an application is received from the irrevocable deregistration and export request authorization holder prior to expiry of the lease. So they are basically saying that there's something called as the Q codes, which is like the QNH or the QNE or the QNF, which basically talks about altitude, flight levels, and all these things, which we'll be talking about in the future. But basically, they're saying that the registry should not match with that, right? So it cannot be Victor Tango QNH, or it cannot be Victor Tango QNE, or it cannot be Victor Tango QNF, etc. Right? It cannot match with the Q codes. If it does, the aircraft will be deregistered, or in the first place, this registry won't be given to the aircraft in the first place. So, and before we end this, I want to talk about one small thing again. Register of aircraft. A register of aircraft registered in India shall be maintained by the DGCA and shall include the particulars as provided in respect of certificate of registration. Such a register shall be open to inspection by members of the public at such times and subject to such conditions as may be specified by DGCA. The register of aircraft is also available on the DGCA website. So if you go to the DGCA website, you can, if you go to the drop down menu, you can go to the aircraft section and you will find the list of all aircrafts and the companies that it belongs to, and you can basically know which all aircrafts are operated by which all companies. And a special tip here, when I was in my initial phase of looking for a job, I used to go to this register, and that's how I used to find the names of the companies that have aircrafts, and then finally I used to apply to them because the email ID was also mentioned, right? So that's it for today. Happy landings. Cheers.